The Detroit Lions fall in the power rankings and the playoff hopes are still alive. So let's talk about it. Hello, everyone. My name is Derek, and welcome to Detroit Lions Syndicate. If you are new to the channel, we talk all things Detroit Lions, so consider subscribing to the channel. Trying to get to 7,000 by the end of the season, and you can help me do that. The Week 13 power rankings are here, and the Detroit Lions have 6 games left in the NFL season, so their work is not done yet. And they've been up and down through this list the entire year. I want to say the lowest I've seen them is 28, maybe 26, and the highest was 18 back in after their Week 2 win against the Washington Commanders. We're now sitting at 4-7. They sit somewhere in the power rankings. So let's get right into it. Where the Detroit Lions sit after Week 12 heading into Week 13 in the NFL power rankings. This information comes from NFL.com. Detroit Lions 4-7, ranked 20, down 2. Previous rank, number 18. The Lions continue to show that they can hang with just about any team in the league. The next step is finding ways to beat the best. The Bills escaped Ford Field with a 28-25 win thanks to a Tyler Bass field goal with 2 seconds to play. And it was the Lions' final drive minutes earlier that left fans playing the what-if game. Facing 3rd and 1 at the Buffalo Bills' 33-yard line with 32 ticks to play, Jared Goff spotted DJ Chark with a step on his defender on a fade route. But the two were clearly not on the same page. Opportunity lost. I told them this one should sting, Coach Dan Campbell said. We had a chance to win and we didn't make it, but I don't think this was a step backwards. I'm frustrated, but we're getting better. Yeah, I think we can all agree with that time management and that play call at the end of that game. The Detroit Lions were going for the tie instead of the win, and just like field goals is 3 points closer to a loss, I think playing for a tie is playing for a loss, especially against a team like the Buffalo Bills. We had a chance to kind of go up by and make them go into the end zone, and I think our odds were much better to defend against that than to allow them to get in field goal range, and all it took was 2 passes for that to happen. We've seen the Buffalo Bills before, so we know what they're capable of doing. So the Detroit Lions fall from 18 to 20. I'm actually surprised they didn't fall farther than that. So that does keep them in the second third of the league with the rank of 20. They got 12 teams behind them and 19 in front. And also, some of you might be playing the draft position game right now, and I think it's okay to do that with the Los Angeles Rams pick. They're pretty much done. Aaron Donald has a high ankle sprain or something like that, and that team is falling apart day by day. Seems like every day there's somebody else hurt. Rumor has it that Kelly doesn't want Matthew Stafford to take another snap this year. And every man knows happy wife, happy life. So he might not play again this season. And if that doesn't happen, if he doesn't play, the Rams don't win another game. But we do need their help just a little bit. Now, of course, winning from them hurts our draft pick. They currently sit at number 3. We need a little help from them to beat the Seattle Seahawks. They still have to play those guys twice. And we need the Seahawks to lose for us to help us get into the playoffs. You guys know that's where I want to be, is talking about playoffs. So this next part here is teams that we should hope to win coming up this week in Week 13 for the Lions' chances to improve in the playoff position. Now, the Lions are the last team on the In the Hunt graphic heading into Week 13. They are number 10, and the graphic cuts off right there. You have the Atlanta Falcons directly above us, and now the Seattle Seahawks are completely out of the playoffs and sitting at number 8. And the Detroit Lions will need a lot of help. First, they need to take care of business, but they'll need a lot of help to get into the postseason. So here's who we need to win coming up in Week 13. As I said in yesterday's video, all the teams that were behind the Detroit Lions sitting at 11 and beyond, they pretty much lost on Sunday, so that helped keep them off of our back. But it's 3 teams that we really have to worry about: the Seahawks, the Washington Commanders, and the New York Giants. Now, the Atlanta Falcons, they're up in there too, and I think they're going to either win the South or it's going to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think the Buccaneers are going to win that game. It's 2 games, though, that we really got to pay attention to this coming Sunday. The Rams play against the Seattle Seahawks, and that's going to be a monumental task with no Aaron Donald possibly, no Matthew Stafford, no Cooper Kupp. That's going to be tough. And right now, the Seahawks are outside the playoffs looking in at number 8. It is the Washington Commanders, New York Giants matchup that we are really going to want to keep our eye on. Now, just stay with me here. The Detroit Lions need to win against the Jacksonville Jaguars. That will be our job done in week 13. Now, the New York Giants are on a 2-game losing streak. They sit at 7-4. The Washington Commanders have won 6 of their last 7. They sit at 7-5. There's a 1-game difference between the two. The Washington Commanders have a week 14 bye week. So if they win, they go into their bye week at 8-5. If they lose, 7-6. The New York Giants have already had their bye week and they sit at 7-4. Now, we've beat both of those teams. So we need either one of those teams to wind up at that 7th seed. Here's the situation. Right now, the entire NFC East is in the playoffs, with the Philadelphia Eagles having the number 1 seed and winning the division right now, the Dallas Cowboys, the New York Giants, and then last but not least, the Washington Commanders. So if the New York Giants win, they go up to 8-4, and they will remain ahead of the Washington Commanders like they are now. The Commanders will drop to 7-6 and will most likely drop out of the playoffs and allow the Seattle Seahawks to get back in. If the Seahawks and the Commanders lose, the Seahawks would drop to 6-6. The Commanders would go to 7-6, but they would still hold on to that last spot. Now, the Atlanta Falcons sit at 5-7, so they probably won't be able to move into the playoffs, which means that for the second week in a row, the Lions cannot go higher than the 9th seed. So here's the deal, and this is why I like to stay in the season. I would much rather do this than be talking about the draft or draft watching right now. The Atlanta Falcons are also off on week 14. So that's the Commanders and the Falcons that have a bye week in week 14. The Falcons play the Pittsburgh Steelers. If the Falcons lose that game, they drop to 5-8. The Detroit Lions, with a win over the Washington Commanders, go to 5-7. They would then, heading into week 14, they would jump over the Atlanta Falcons, having more wins and less losses. So that puts us in the 9th seed heading into week 14 against the rematch against the Minnesota Vikings. So if you're following along with me, heading into week 13, we need a Lions win. That goes without saying. We need a Atlanta Falcons loss. We need a New York Giant win. And we need a LA Rams win. That will put the Lions in the 9th seed, and we'll just be 2 spots out of the last playoff spot with 5 games to go. So decide the right path for you. Do you want to draft watch or do you want to playoff watch? The choice is yours. Like Captain Planet used to say, the power is yours. My name is Derek. This is Detroit Lions Syndicate. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel, like the video, because all of this stuff is hard to do, but I do this every single year because this is much rather do this than that other thing. You guys are awesome. Take care of yourself, and let's get this W on Sunday. Go Lions.